Now that we are familiar with set algebra, let's move on to Boolean algebra. Boolean algebra is going to allow us to combine multiple set algebra operations into a more complex table query. Boolean algebra has multiple conditional operators. The three operators that we're going to focus on are the most common Boolean operators. They are or, and not. The Boolean operators evaluate values on the left and right side of the operator and then assign an outcome. The outcome is a Boolean or binary result such as true-false, 1-0, on-off, or any other dichotomy. In Boolean algebra, order of operations do matter. Therefore, it's not uncommon to use many sets of parentheses to force a particular order of operations. It is also important to note that Boolean operators are not distributable inside of parentheses. These are the truth tables for the three Boolean operators. A truth table allows us to see what the result of the operation, r, in the table is if we apply the input of x and y. Here's the truth table for the simplest Boolean operator, not. The not Boolean operator simply reverses the input of the result. So if the input is true, then not true is false. If the input is false, then the result is true. The and Boolean operator requires two inputs. One input is placed to the left of the Boolean operator, and one input is placed on the right of the Boolean operator. The and Boolean operator only assigns the value of true when the value to its left evaluates to true, and the value on the right also simultaneously evaluates to true. In other words, in order for the and Boolean operator to be assigned a true value, both sides of the operation must have evaluated to true. Looking at the truth tables, if the inputs are false and false, the result is false. If the input is true and false, the result is false. If the input is false and a true, the result is false. If the input is true and true, the result is true. This makes the and operator extremely selective. Finally, let's look at the or truth table. With the or Boolean operator, it only requires that one of the two inputs are true for the or operator to return a true value. For instance, if the operators are false and false, the return is false, since neither of the inputs return to be true. If the input is true or false, and the result is true, if the input is true or false, the result is true. If the input is true or true, then the result is true. The order of operations of these Boolean operators are first, the innermost set of the parentheses or brackets should be evaluated first, followed by not Boolean operator, followed by and Boolean operator, followed by the or Boolean operator. Let's take a few moments and consider each one of these statements and determine whether each statement returns a true or false. To save space, false is represented by the letter F and true is represented by the letter T. Here are the answers for the operations. Let's review each one. The first one states not false. Not simply reverses the truth statement, therefore not false equals to true. The second statement is true and true. If you remember, for the and Boolean operator, both sides must be true in order for the operation to return true, and it does in this case. The next states false or not true. For this one, we must remember our order of operations. Remember that not must be evaluated before the or. Therefore, not true, which is false, leaves us with the statement of false or false. The or operator only returns true if one of the two sides returns true. Since the statement is false or false, the result of the or operator is false. The next statement, true or open parentheses false or open parentheses true and close parentheses followed by another close parentheses. Remembering the order of operations, the innermost set of parentheses is evaluated first, which is the true and true statement. True and true evaluates to true, which takes us to the next level of parentheses, which is now false or true. False or true evaluates to true because only one of the inputs needs to be true for the OR operator to return true. That leaves true or true, which evaluates to true. The last statement reads open parentheses true and true, close parentheses, or false and open parentheses not false and true close parentheses. Again, we need to go to the innermost set of parentheses, and in this case we have two options. Let's start at the left and evaluate the true and true. True and true evaluates to true. Let's go to the other set of parentheses. In order of operations, it states that we must evaluate the not before we can evaluate and. So not false equals to true, which leaves us with true and true, which evaluates to true. The statement now reads, in total, true or false and true. So once again, the order of operations states that we must evaluate the first. So false and true equals to false. Now that leaves the statement true or false. True or false equals true, which is the result of the statement. Now that you've been introduced to set and Boolean operators, let's combine them together. If you remember, the result of the set operation is a true or false value, and the Boolean operators evaluates the inputs that have been evaluated to either true or false. So now hopefully you can see how it all fits together. Focusing on this slide is an attribute table that has 4 attributes of country, population, 2009 unemployment, and whether the country is a United Nations member. Below the table, we have a query table we wish to execute on the table. The query table reads, open parentheses, UN member equals yes or UN member equals no, close parentheses, and unemployment is greater than 3.5. Spend a few moments and go row by row to the attribute table to see if you can determine which countries are going to be selected based on this query. We will review the answers on the next slide. The answer is that the query selects the countries of Pengo, Tempest, and Zaxxon. Now let's consider the same match table, but the table query of the population greater than 80,000 and unemployment of less than 6. Spend a few moments to see if you can determine which rows were selected. The answer in this case is null. The result of null means that no rows are selected using this query. Now let's consider one last table query. The table query reads not parentheses population less than 1 million and population greater than 31,000 close parentheses and UN member equals yes. Take a few minutes to determine which rows are selected by this query. The answer here is Pengo, Zaxxon, and Galaxon.